What's going on? This is the Then Everything After podcast with your boy Amax,
Sasha Chantel, and
the king of trainers, Franklin Watson, aka the king of trainers.
Yes.
How we doing, people?
Yes,
hey.
we good. Yes. So, all right, we're going to jump straight in. Obviously, there's been a lot of things going on in the media, across the globe. I'm not even going to, there's just so many things to touch upon. Like, obviously, we all know about what's been going on in prison. So this is an interesting subject. The fact that over the course of I don't know if it was the last couple of weeks, the government started talking about the fact that they are going to let out prisoners who are coming up to the end of their sentences or people they deem to be of a lesser risk. What are your views?
No, Vibes, you go first.
No, you go.
Because you can tell I got views. My face is showing all my views.
Go for it. We're ready.
Okay, and I'll keep it really condensed. I've had a problem with the prison service for a very long time before COVID. So we're going back for many years. My issue is there's always a problem of spending, not having enough money to open more prisons, not enough space to open prisons. It's always the same thing. Now COVID happened, right? It's a case of building hospitals everywhere. They're doing all the different things. It's like you can't build a few more prisons. So why is it now, okay, you want to let them out early? Why would you do that? Why would you let them know that because they're lesser risk, we'll let you go? Because now you can just go out and do more things because you're lesser risk. Go and rob some cars, go and steal some bread. Like, why not? I'm a lesser risk. So it just gives the wrong message to people who are committing crimes. Because then people who are committing crimes and plan to do a crime might think, well, they won't put me in prison because compared to murder or rape or whatever, it's going to be okay. It's a lesser crime. So it shouldn't be that way. Finish your term and go. That's it. Not end people's term early because of this and use this as your excuse. But that's my view.
Thanks, Sash. You know, what I understood it to be in terms of letting prisoners out early is because prisoners were getting infected by the COVID. So to kind of stop the spread of it going further, they were trying to kind of reduce. They couldn't contain the actual virus within the prisons. So I thought that's why they were letting people out early in that respect. I mean, if I'm honest, I think if a prisoner is on day release anyway, and they get let out once a week or whatever it may be, I think they should be let out. That's my personal opinion. Okay. Because at the end of the day, rather than make the situation worse within the prisons and then they get killed, then it's best because if they're on day release, they could bring the COVID into the prisons. Because I understand that's how it got into the prisons, if I'm honest. So for those who are on day release, they should just keep them out. That's just what my thing, you know. So I mean, I understand that. Is it in the States? Someone got released early and then he went and killed someone, or something like that. Yeah. I mean, I think that is a very extreme case. And I think that needs to be, evaluated. But if I'm honest, you can't pin the hopes of all the other prisoners on one place. Because I know in the UK, I know it's not as serious, but in the US, I hear prisons are it's like a massacre. Like people are dying and they're just putting them in cells and leaving them to rot. So there's a different dynamic. So I think my opinion is, I need to kind of have all the facts before I can really give a solid. But my personal opinion is, if they're on day release anyway, let them out.
Okay, that makes sense, man. That makes sense. It's an interesting one. Like, I didn't even think about it from the two. And I'm glad that you've both given your two views because it's made me look at it, I guess, differently. Like, you both touched on points which I definitely agree with, like 100%. I don't know. It's a bit. I don't think that it doesn't fit as like a blanket thing. It doesn't fit as a blanket thing because what do you deem as, I guess, a low-level criminal? So not a low-level crime, but a low-level criminal. Because if you're a high-level criminal convicted of doing a low-level crime,
well, no, I think so. Just to understand that. So, from my understanding of the prison system, what they deem as a low-level crime is something like not paying a council tax. People are in prison right now for not paying a council tax. There are people in prison right now for 419.
TV license.
TV. Like there's so many different things that
That's
people are in prison
disgusting.
for. Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's true though.
So if it comes to that, you know, even like the 3 strike rule, having marijuana or breaking a curfew or stuff like that, all of those things to me are, you know, and in the prison system, to my understanding, it's deemed as low level crime. I think when you look at the people who have probably killed somebody or committed multiple offences in a very serious manner, that is probably mid to high level crime. Obviously, high level crime is killing and arson, all those different things. So I think it's an individual case by case thing. So it's hard to just be like, no one should be let out or everyone should be let out. I think they really need to look at your case by case.
Yeah,
I think I struggle to trust the system, and I think that's where it comes from. I feel like who's making the decisions to say that person should come out for this reason and that reason? I just don't trust the system, and I think that's my problem. I feel like there's been numerous cases of them releasing the wrong people, or you know, and it's happened over a long period of time, and that person goes out and commits a serious crime and so forth. And I'm just a bit apprehensive. I think that's the key thing. I just feel like, what's the process? Yeah, how is it going to happen? Will it happen how you say it, Fab, where case by case? Or will it be a big panic thing like, yeah, just get everyone gone, let's move this? Because you just can't tell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you. I've had friends falsely go to prison and go to prison for things that are not, you know, right. I've been also lied upon by the police in certain situations. I won't go into detail, but I think in this circumstance, I definitely think they do evaluate. From the UK, I can't talk about America, but from what I know in the UK, I think they are evaluating things, because people are in prison for some real crap things, if I'm honest. You know, you know, the law is the law, but going to prison for a driving offence when, you know, you're speeding and you haven't knocked anyone over, that's a whole different thing. So
definitely.
I'm sure they should have a you know, think about it.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. It definitely is different. Like, I guess in each country where they're thinking of doing this, where this applies or have rolled this out, it's going to be a different situation in each place. It's going to be a different case. Do you think this is motivated by the fact that this COVID situation is happening, or do you think it's more of an opportunistic thing because of the fact that prisons have historically been overcrowded?
That's my issue. I think this is a very convenient time to start to let people out because you're overcrowded and you haven't got any space, and your argument has you have no money to build prisons, but now you're finding billions left, right and centre for different things during COVID. Why couldn't you build more prisons all them years ago? So that's my problem. I just find it a bit fitting. I understand there are people in prison who are innocent and so forth and have small crimes, but at the same time I feel like it's always been an issue, has been money and overcrowding and not having any money to build any prisons. But now all of a sudden, you know, it's like you're building all these things and giving money for all these different causes, and it's like, why couldn't you build more prisons then? So it bothers me. I think that's a major thing. It bothers me a lot.
It's a bit strange. It's a bit strange. It's like I know in the US they make a lot of profit from the prisons themselves. Whereas over here, I don't think we have that same setup in the UK. Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
We do. We definitely do.
So then, is it the case that the profitability isn't in making more prisons, it's in how many people are in each prison? Like, what is, because you'd think, and this is a weird thing for me to even bring up, because I don't like people being in prison who shouldn't be there. And there are many cases of people who are there that definitely don't belong there. But is the reason for the hesitation in building prisons because of the fact that they can't see profitability in it? Because in America, they would be quick to build a prison knowing they're going to make more profit out of that next prison facility that they create and the amount of prisoners that they're going to stuff in there.
Okay, so just to answer that question, in America, most American prisons are private owned or corporation, so they're not owned. They're run by the government, but they're not owned by the government. If that makes any sense. So to my understanding, in the UK, to have one person in prison for a year is about 50 grand. Yeah, right. For all their maintenance and stuff. most prisons are like state prisons, so they're run by the government. So the government have to put up the money of the 50 grand. Do you get what I mean? To the prison to maintain the prison. So I think in the government's, I don't even want to say defense, I'm talking about the UK. They're probably thinking we need to let these people out so that rather than money that we're spending to feed them and to maintain them and the staff that, you know, we need to bring them out so that we can put that money into other pots. Because I've really looked at and analysed it, and though there's a lot of grey area, to my understanding, that's what it is. In the US now, they're hesitant to let people out because it's private prisons. So the government pay the prison owners, you know, per prisoner. Do you get what I mean? So say, for example, it is $50,000 per prisoner. The prison is profitable because that prisoner is working for probably like 8p an hour or 10p an hour or $1. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they're producing, you know, metals. You know, even now I think they've moved the services on to producing masks and stuff like that. So that's why American prison dynamic is a very different dynamic. But the UK, I feel that they're letting prisoners out so they can free up the money and then put it into different things.
But then don't you find then, because I've spent a lot of years working with ex-offenders and so forth, when you take them out of a prison service where you're paying for them and the taxpayers' money is looking after them, and then you release them and they go and sign on and get benefit because they can't get a job, they're getting money in a different way. Like tax, you know what I mean? And I just find it's like it's just moving the coin around, basically.
No, I agree, but if we're honest, the minimum and maximum signing on is less than 50 grand. It's way less than 50 grand, like the minimum maximum. So unless they've got like 10,000 kids and all their kids are getting benefits, then they'll hit that 50 grand threshold, if quote unquote. So it's better for them to be out and sign on, if I'm honest, because of the price, just only based on the money, not based on, you know, anything else. But I personally feel that taxpayers' money is wasted on prisoners that don't have to go to prison. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, true.
So, you know, on this occasion, I'm not mad with the UK saying they should come out. That's me.
No, it's true.
Okay, yeah.
On that fact, I can see the benefits.
Yeah, I can see the logic in that. So then, you would say that just to obviously like make sure that I'm on the same page. You would say that. I guess people that have been convicted of things such as TV license, not paying their TV license or council tax or whatever other equivalent, the system should be looking at prioritizing those individuals based on this current situation to free up space in the prison.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Even sending someone to jail for council tax is just crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
It's an unneeded tax. You get what I mean? You know, like I'm even going through council tax with one of my properties in South End. I'm going through different headaches because of my tenants and stuff. And council tax is just an unnecessary tax. They say it's to do the government and stuff, but when you actually look deep into it, you know, there's different elements that are kind of, you know, not all there. So personally, anyone going to prison for council tax, and to be fair, it is a last resort. But it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% agreed, man. 100% agreed. I was looking the other day at how they tax us in the UK. How many different entities they've been to get to the point that they are now. And it's fascinating. I'll just say to anyone, just go and look up HMRC and look at what they were before, where you're obviously seeing the fact that it was like the Crown as one entity, the Inland Revenue as another entity, and how they were working separately and what it was that brought them together. And then look at how many offsets of that there were going back hundreds of years, and it will make taxation make total sense. And it will also make you understand where you might be unnecessarily paying taxes for things that you shouldn't be, and give you an understanding of where you claim that tax back. But to understand it, it's about taking those steps. Like, as I've looked back in history, it's given me a deeper understanding of where my money's going. So now I'm clear about what I'm happy about and what I'm not so happy about. Whereas before, it was just a blanket anger, looking at my money and looking at the amount leaving. But now, now that I've got a clearer picture, I know where to attack and what to ask for.
Yeah.
And to be thinking about where that money could be going, you know, investments, etc.
Well, knowledge is power, isn't it?
That's it. 100%. All right. Well, it'd be interesting to see what other people have to say about this topic that we discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, you know, anyone watching this video, I'd love for you to leave a comment and for you to join in this conversation with us. So we can really delve deep, because you might have some insight that we don't, that none of us have.
Well, exactly.
And like Sasha said, knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100.
All right. And on that note, we're going to end it here. So this is your boy Max. I'm out. Peace.
Sash Chantel.
Franklin, aka the King of Trainers.
Take it easy.